Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois. This would be, I guess, for season 3. And just sorry if you can hear like rain and wind outside. It's like cycloning and like flooding where in like the city that I live in. So just ignore that if you can hear it. Hopefully you can't. But anyway, we are a week on. Well, actually, we're actually more than a week on by the time this video will come out from the season 2 finale of course, Superman and Lois, which of course provided some very fun and awesome Superman moments, which, you know, you can go back and rewatch over and over and over again, while also setting various things up for next season, which I've already done a video on and focused on that, which will be linked in the description down below if you haven't seen that yet and you're curious. So that's just a bit of a plug for a previous video. But of course, the very much talked about moment from the finale of Superman and Lois season 2, was of course the reveal that the show actually takes place on a completely different Earth in the multiverse than Earth Prime, where, The Flash, Supergirl, Legend of Tomorrow, Batwoman, Arrow, and Black Lightning, and where they all took place, and I guess where the characters still exist, except for Green Arrow, RIP the Dream. And of course, that's where the Superman and Lois we saw in various crossovers and shows since season 2 of Supergirl is on as well, and they're still there. Whether we see them again is another question, but there's somewhere on Earth Prime, most likely in Metropolis. Now, of course, this reveal and choice does create, creative freedom, albeit a less interesting world at the current stage for Superman and Lois to play in. But that is the thing. Whilst it's a bit of a bland Earth, a bit of vanilla Earth at the moment because of, it's just really Smallville Metropolis and not really much outside of that, it gives them a world to build. It gives them a plain vanilla ice cream to put some toppings and chocolate fudge or whatever you want to put it, banana split, whatever thing you want to create, it gives them the ability to do that. And that wasn't something that was sort of like, glazed over in some interviews with Todd Helbing, the showrunner for Superman and Lois, in the aftermath of the season 2 finale. So this video topic and just discussion is based off a question that Todd Helbing was asked about the possibility of a Supergirl appearing on Superman and Lois after this separating of Earths, with Todd Helbing insinuating that yeah, it's a decent possibility, but more than likely it would be a different actress. Though he would be happy for Melissa Benoist to, come play Kara again on this Earth. It just would most likely be another actress, because like the big issue around bringing Supergirl or a Supergirl into the show is that timeline-wise, it might be hard to make that logical just due to how Supergirl was set up previously to then doing it now with an older Superman than what was already there and just on this new Earth and everything like that. Because it's important to remember that they haven't mentioned Superman having a cousin or anything like that. So if they did use Supergirl or Kara Zor-El at the very least, it seems it would probably be a new actress in the role that arrives on Earth, in the present day, or has been hidden and unknown to Superman for a while, or at least Clark has never introduced that side of his life to Lois and the boys and everything like that. So that leads to the question and discussion, what other characters that appeared in the Arrowverse on Earth Prime could appear on Superman and Lois, and would they be recast or possibly played by the same actors like we have seen with Diggle as well as Lucy Lane? So of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your choices in the comment section down below, whether it's just one choice or your top 3, and also let me know whether you would recast the character. Say it's like I don't know, Black Lightning. Would you bring back Cress Williams, or would you recast the role entirely? Let me know what you would do there. Would you want a Diggle situation, or would you want a, I guess, General Lane situation? Keep the character, or keep the actor that previously played the character, or just recast them as a whole. So there's no specific order. It's just really how I thought of them and wrote them down. So we're just going to go in that order. So the first one I have is because it's a character that has actually been mentioned that has previously existed, in the Arrowverse, and that's Oliver Queen. Now, Todd Helbing has said that an Oliver Queen existed on this new Earth, of course, because Diggle in season 1 mentioned Oliver. So he sort of had to say that. So maybe we could get flashbacks with him if they wanted to do that, especially if he was Green Arrow, and we could have seen like Green Arrow and Superman work in the past. Though, if we go to the Sam Lane side of things from the season 2 finale, he said there were no heroes other than Superman. However, Todd Helbing said there weren't any other powered heroes like Superman, so there would still be like vigilantes like Green Arrow, like a Black Canary, possibly Batman, heroes like that. So they don't have powers, they're just vigilante, they're street level, and Superman's the only one that deals with like otherworldly or very like over the top side of things, like flying around, going really fast, things like that. And the main reason I think this could happen if they wanted to do it would just be because Diggle they're going with Diggle still being a thing on this earth, and I guess they're still going to use him in some capacity. And if I was going to do it, you bring back Stephen Amell. I mean, if you have the same Diggle, you got to have the same Oliver. There's no way you recast Oliver. I don't think it would work at all. So I think this is the one choice I have here where I think you 100% keep the same actor if you're going to bring this character in. Next up, we have Jimmy Olsen. I mean, this is so obvious. I mean, it's Superman's best friend. Like, come on. Like, I know they've said on the show that, like, Lana's Clark's best friend, but you could make like a loophole where Lana is Clark's best friend, but Jimmy Olsen is Superman's best friend. You know, you could work around, that way. Now, there was a lot of frustration around how Jimmy Olsen as a character was dealt with on Supergirl, especially in the latter parts of the characters run on the show. Like, not just the last season he was on, but pretty much like, I think it was like a 50-50 split, even though some would say that he was mishandled really after like a handful of episodes because there was just no Superman aspect with the character and it felt somewhat important. So some would say the character never worked. Some would say it's like a 50-50 split. But I think most would agree, if not all would agree, that towards the end of the character's run on Supergirl, it was just complete disrespect pretty much. So maybe you could get like a redemption sort of with the same actor coming on. That, of course, being Mehcad Brooks. Now, him and Tyler Hoechlin had pretty good chemistry as well when they were on screen together, though it was fairly minimal. That needs to be brought up. Like when they did scenes together, but like hardly any. Like it was just them. Where apparently it's two best friends hanging out together. Like there wasn't too many scenes like that. Like obviously Jimmy and Kara had like a bajillion times more scenes together just one on one. So Jimmy Olsen's definitely a character I could see coming in. Obviously, Superman has existed for a while. You would assume that Jimmy Olsen was around there. Did they? I think they might have even mentioned Jimmy at the Daily Planet. I think maybe, but I might be wrong. In like season 1 when they did flashbacks, they might have mentioned Jimmy Olsen, but I'm not 100% sure if they did. So don't lock that down as a quote or say it's concrete or anything like that. But if Superman or Clark Kent was working the Daily Planet, you'd think Jimmy Olsen was either there at the time or started like a few years after that. So Superman and him have known each other, and I guess Clark as well have known each other for like over a decade, if not like close to 1.5 decades or something like that. So the relationship would be good, but that obviously means it's an older Jimmy, and that's the whole point of like what Mehcad Brooks was on Supergirl. So I think bring him back, especially if it's for like a one-time thing, which will relate to another character that we go over in a second as well. I think that might be the best choice, but I think a recast would probably be accepted by a lot of people as well at the same time. And that mainly just comes down to the fact that while Mehcad was on Supergirl for a while, he also wasn't a main character in like the scope of the Arrowverse and everything like that. He was just a supporting character on one of the shows. Next up, Lex Luthor. Now, once again, this is a bit of an obvious one. Now, John Cryer, who played Lex Luthor on Supergirl, said that he would be up to reprising the role in Superman and Lois. And actually, I think the day of when I'm recording this, like a couple of hours ago, I think he replied to someone on Twitter saying he would want, if he came back to Superman and Lois to play Lex Luthor, he would want to play a more dark version of the character. And I wouldn't be against this because his Lex was very much suited for Supergirl and its tone, like most of the time. However, there were times, like, don't get me wrong, it was in the vast minority, but there were times he pulled off a Lex when necessary that would fit Superman and Lois's tone and just the world it's built. It's just most of the time his Lex was molded around Supergirl's tone and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be against this at all. However, if I'm putting my thoughts and my mind into the mind, I guess, of Todd Helbing, and we're sharing some thoughts, I think he would be thinking a recast. I think that the recast is a much more likely option. Also, John Cryer, I think, is like leading a show or something like that. I'm not too sure what's going on with him now. So if they want to do Lex Luthor in the short term, it would have to be a recast. And I just think overall that's probably the better way to go. But yeah, that's a wait and see. As I said, I wouldn't be mad if John Cryer came back to play Lex, but I think they'd probably go for a recast. Now, my second last option is a character who they could definitely, like, it's an interesting one because they could use the character as someone who, is superpowered, has had the superpowers for ages, their whole life, or whatever it might be, and knows how to use them and can easily slot in and help Superman, if not be, whatever you want, like be even to Superman in regards to dealing with something, but also not be known to this world, and that's Martian Manhunter. So yes, they've said there's no other superpowered heroes, but maybe he was always here, like on Supergirl, until he revealed himself. And maybe even on this Earth, Clark or Superman knows about John Jones, or John Jones, whichever way you want to pronounce it, and who he really is. But there's no need for him to come out and reveal who he is and say that there's this other being on Earth. So they could do that if they really wanted to, but I think the only way you would do this is if you're going to use them in a consistent way. I think for this happening in like a 1 or 2 episode thing, I don't think it would work. So I think they'd have to use him for like half a season or make him a recurring character. And I just don't know if they'd use a recurring character who was on Supergirl for what? How long did Supergirl go for? 6 seasons as a recurring character as well. You got to remember he revealed himself as Martian Manhunter like halfway through season 1 of Supergirl. So he was there the entire time. I don't know if Superman and Lois would want to use another recurring character just like Supergirl did. So it might be hard in regards to that. But I think Martian Manhunter would be a character that people would like. But the thing is that the Earth Prime comic that they did, which is meant to be canon to each Earth that they're on. So Stargirl was canon to Earth 2, where they're on. You know, like the Flash was canon to Earth Prime, and the Superman issue was canon to whatever Earth this is. They mentioned Martian Manhunter, and that Superman's fought with him before. So maybe that's the connection they can use if they want to. So yeah, maybe it's not too ludicrous to think that they might use him in some capacity. And the last one, because why not? And that's the Flash. But would it be Grant Gustin? I think probably not, unless by the time they wanted to use him, the Flash is done. So this would be like maybe like 2 or 3 seasons from now, whichever way, whenever the Flash ends as a show. So they could use the Flash, and it could be Grant Gustin. They could maybe put him in like one of the older suits, maybe like the season 4 suit, maybe do it up a bit to make it fit better, or just make it look a bit more updated or whatever it is. But maybe they could make it Wally West, and they could make it Keenan Lonsdale. Now Todd Helbing did work with Keenan on the Flash, you know, in like seasons 3, 4, and seasons 3, 4. Was he in 5? He was in 5, I think, towards the end or something like that. So they could use him there if they wanted to, especially if it's for like what 1 or 2 episodes at a time, or just 1 and 2 episodes in general. Like a familiar face wouldn't go wrong if you're going to use like a speedster in the Flash like that. So maybe this could mean like a new suit for Keenan to wear if they wanted to do it. Obviously, there's still the topic of there's no superpowered heroes, but maybe this is like on this Earth, Barry Allen never became the Flash. It was Wally West. He was the first Flash. And this is like an early Flash. This is like an early Wally West, like year 1 Flash, if you want to call it. Maybe even Superman makes him a suit, or hooks him up with his Superman suit maker, or whatever it is. Maybe that's what could happen and stuff like that. Because people have been wanting to see what the Flash would look like with like Superman and Lois's VFX team, and like if it would differ too much. And I personally don't think it would differ a ridiculous amount. Maybe outside of like just the lightning, because we've seen how they do the Superman running, and it's pretty much the same style as the Flash. The only difference would be like, I guess, the environment, the green screen, like the color grading and stuff like that. So those would be the main differences, but I think people would still want to see what that would look like. But then again, they can always just have it that Barry travels the multiverse. That's always the thing as well. If they want the Flash to appear on the show, maybe in the Flash's final season, they can just have it that Barry travels the multiverse to Superman and Lois for an episode and does some cool stuff. If they really want to, that could be how they do it. You don't have to do this whole Wally West thing. It could just be our Barry from Earth Prime traveling the multiverse. It allows Superman and Lois to build their own world, but also have Grant and Tyler share the screen again for 1 or 2 episodes or whatever it might be. But yeah, those are my main choices. I'm sure there's, you got a bunch of different choices that you want to leave in the comments section down below and explain why. These are just the ones that I think are, exciting and also logical in regards to coming to the show as well. So yeah, that's why I put them that way. But of course, if you enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on the ones that I've chosen, as well as your own choices as well. I'm very curious to see if anyone drops one that I might have not put at all and just gone, wow, that's the obvious choice. So let me know all your thoughts down there. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.